Hi guys, Jim Black here. Welcome to another edition of Bay Area Backstories. This week takes us to the Santa Cruz Harbor, where we get to go out on one of the most iconic boats in the Bay. Jack O'Neill helped create the O'Neill Sea Odyssey experience, where they charter a boat for tens of thousands of kids around educational experiences with the environment. So let's go dive in and learn more about the boat. Hey guys, I'm out here in the Santa Cruz Harbor, walking out to the O'Neill Sea Odyssey right now to meet two of the most important people of this whole program, Dan Hafley and Rachel Kippen, the past director and current director of the program. We're gonna join them on the boat to learn more about what they are excited about and more about the story behind Jack O'Neill's passion project of bringing kids out to the ocean to learn more about one of the most important parts of the environment. This is exciting today. Wow.
Hey,
great. Dan.
Hey, Jim, how are you doing?
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for your time today. It's
all right.
So exciting to be here on the boat.
Head on up. Welcome on board.
All right. Thank you. Wow, this is awesome. Great day.
This is a great boat.
Yeah.
Great day.
Great day in June. We're having fun, and I'm excited to really learn more about how this whole venture started and learn more about what you're excited about for the future. And thank you again for allowing us to be out here on this beautiful boat.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, this is a very exciting place for us, because this boat that Jack and Tim O'Neill bought in 1983 really is the start of a lot of things. There was a hot air balloon phase that they went through. Of course, there were a lot of trips that they took with folks that surfed with the O'Neill Company, and now of course this is used for O'Neill Sea Odyssey as using Monterey Bay as the world's coolest science classroom.
Absolutely. I had no idea how many students you guys have affected, and they've had the benefit of learning more about the sea. Can you share some of the figures of the last 25 years of what you guys have done?
Sure. So ever since 1996, when the program started off slow and then really ramped up over the next couple of years up until the year 2000, 104,000 students have been through our program.
Wow.
It's around 4,000 school classes. The program is entirely free, so the vast majority of students that have participated in this program are lower income. Many of them come from inland areas. We also pay for bus transportation, and we're very proud of the fact that we're able to introduce students to science on board, again, the coolest classroom that there could be, which is the ocean, which is, of course, over 70% of the surface of the planet, the world's largest habitat, the source of half of our oxygen. Students are able to use this as a laboratory to learn about it, and not only to learn the science, but learn how to take care of the environment.
That's
that
awesome.
They're inheriting from us.
It's an amazing story, and some people don't understand when they see this boat out in the bay what you guys are doing. They think of it as being a casual joyride on a really nice catamaran, but they don't really understand what's really happening and what we're doing for the kids in the community here, which is really exciting.
Exactly. So it's during the day, during the school year, you'll see about 30 kids on this boat in life jackets. So if you're out the Santa Cruz Wharf, or if you're walking along East Cliff Drive, you'll see our boat out with a bunch of young people in life jackets. That's O'Neill Sea Odyssey. So that's the education program that we do. The boat also is used for private charters in the evening and on the weekends. That way the boat gets more use, and we could pay the cost of the boat. The boat actually belonged to Jack. It was his boat, but the nonprofit really benefits. The nonprofit that runs the education program really benefits from it. So when you see those students on the boat during the day, they're having fun, but they're learning something too.
Excellent, and I'm really impressed by all the things you've done. Jack is a legend, but you are as much of a legend for different reasons, with the initiatives around Save Our Shores for over 40 years, and really giving a lot back to the Santa Cruz County and Monterey Bay. And your involvement has made a big difference in some of the environmental things that have been going on. How did Jack approach you about this venture? What brought you guys together?
Well, how this started is the O'Neill Sea Odyssey Education Center is in something called the O'Neill Building here at the Santa Cruz Harbor. That building was actually built by Jack O'Neill and his friend and business partner Harry Hind in 1965. It was one of the first buildings built in the Santa Cruz Harbor. Jack originally wanted to build a surf shop, and he got his friend Harry involved, who was astute in the ways of business. Harry brought along a lawyer and a CPA, and pretty soon this little surf shop became an 8,500 square foot, two-story building, which is good because today we now have a great education center for O'Neill Sea Odyssey. So when I was at Save Our Shores, I believe the year was 1988 or 1989, I approached Jack O'Neill, who I had known casually, and he was a donor to Save Our Shores. And he actually asked us if we would like to rent space from him in the harbor, in his building, for very, very cheap. He couldn't give it to us for free because of rules around the harbor. But we agreed to do that, and we actually had a meeting on this very boat.
Cool.
To talk about that, and he mentioned, he and his son Tim, who was at the meeting and was skipper of the boat at the time, mentioned the fact that they were discussing, he and Tim, the idea of doing something that involves school children to learn about Monterey Bay. So that's sort of where the nexus of it started, and then from there the relationship just grew.
Very exciting. This is a special boat, and I can just tell that a lot of love and care goes into this with all the people that you've had throughout the years, your staff, and also Rachel coming on board now as the new director, which is exciting. And do you have like a favorite Jack moment or story or quote or what something that he instilled with you with the Odyssey that you can share with the rest of the world?
Yeah, there are a lot of great stories about Jack and things that he did. For example, this very harbor, just before this harbor opened in 1964, a tsunami came through. It was called the Easter Tsunami in 1964, and it did some damage. And one of the things it did is the dredge machine that built the channel for this harbor basically deepened the channel so that boats could come in and out. That dredge was pulled out to sea.
Wow.
And the guy who was running the harbor at the time could not swim, didn't have divers, so he called up his friend Jack O'Neill and asked Jack to see if he can go out and find the dredge, which was somewhere out there in the ocean underwater.
Wow.
So Jack got a couple of his friends and they went diving out there, and they had heard that one of the commercial boats that were here had run into something as it came into the harbor, and Jack said, aha, that must be the dredge. So Jack and his friends went out there, they located the dredge, which was under about, 30 feet of water. They got they got 4 boxes that were wax boxes that you associate with produce. They were engine boxes. So what they did is they took the boxes and put one of the 4 boxes under each of the 4 corners of this dredge. And then he filled each of those boxes with air and sealed those boxes and lifted the dredge up.
Wow.
With these boxes, and then they had a boat come and drag the dredge in, and across the way here is Aldo's and little dock. So they had a crane set up here on this dock, and they were going to crane up this dredge so they could get all the water out of it and then eventually take it up to get repaired. Well, they were doing this, and Jack was here, he was steadying the dredge, it was moving up, and Ralph Ring, who was the port director at the time, was standing between the crane and the dredge. A dangerous spot to be. So when the crane started to tilt and list, Ralph Ring started to freak out. And Jack said, "What's the problem, Ralph?" And Ralph says, "I can't swim. If this goes over, I can't swim." So they lowered it back down. So Jack gave them the signal to lower it back down, and then they got Ralph Ring out of the way and then brought it back up, and eventually the dredge went in for repairs. So that's your typical Jack story. He always made sure that things were done safely and well, but he always had a little bit of humor about it as well. They actually, it was a little adventure for them to go out and find the dredge and bring it in and to be inventive. That was very much Jack O'Neill.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to be out here on the boat with a classroom today and also get a chance to meet Rachel and talk to her. So thank you again for your time today, Dan.
Thank you, sir.
You're a living legend, and we appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be here. So we're hanging out on the actual catamaran on the netting. Pretty exciting. Thanks again for having me out in the boat.
Thank you so much for coming out today.
Awesome.
So nice to speak with you.
Thank you. So I'm excited, along with the viewers, are excited to learn more about what you guys do on the boat. What do kids get from being on the boat besides pretty much the best view of the area and enjoying a day in the sun?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, they get to experience this net that you're on. Our students, we hope that they retain and remember lots of things from their journey, but this is one of the prime memories of their life, of getting to come out and be on and over the water in a safe place. But while they're on the boat with us, they will rotate through 3 stations. They're going to learn about biology, but marine biology, ecology, and navigation. And they're breaking into 3 groups of about 10 students per group. Usually we have classes of about 30 students. And that ratio of having about 10 students per 1 instructor is really important for students to be able to, get that individualized attention and again, feel safe on the boat. And so they'll learn about plankton, they'll collect some points using a compass that they'll use later in the classroom to kind of figure out where they are on the water. And then they'll also learn about the food web, about some of our really important species here, like our sea otters, our migratory animals. They'll eat some kelp.
No way.
Yeah, they do a lot of different things.
Nice.
Yeah, in addition to whatever else comes up, you never know what you're gonna see out here. That's another beautiful thing about getting to work on a boat.
Yeah, I can imagine you see whales at times, or
yeah.
all kinds of other sea life, which
Yep,
is cool.
yep, sea lions, gray whales, humpback whales. We even had a pod of orca whales surround one of our groups while they're out in the water. I mean, that's an experience that most humans don't get to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, how did you get involved with being the director and being involved with the Odyssey and all the things around it? Like, what attracted you to this job and role and an amazing thing that I'd like to be part of if I had the choice?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I feel really privileged, really lucky. I got to know some of the staff and instructors, and Dan, our former director who you met, I used to be the director of programs at Save Our Shores, and so Save Our Shores and O'Neill Sea Odyssey has had a really strong partnership for over a decade of having students that are coming out on our program also contributing to community service by doing beach cleanups.
Okay.
And so when I was at Save Our Shores, a lot of the students that were coming out on Sea Odyssey were doing a beach cleanup with me and learning about plastic pollution, and then as I got to know our instructors, I was like, that's just a really cool organization. So I started volunteering for O'Neill Sea Odyssey and did some of their marine debris artwork. And when this position came up, I applied with a women of prayer, hoping that I would even be considered. And I feel like I just got the luckiest job, best job ever.
Yeah, it's so cool. Also have a mentor in Dan and all his stuff, and his involvement with all these different environmental organizations is exciting.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool to learn more about the kids and what they're going to experience or what they have experienced. What are you looking for as the new director? When you look ahead long term, what are you excited about bringing to the job and the boat and the experience?
Yeah, I'm excited about pretty much everything. But with that said, I would say, I'm sure you've noticed that our youth are, I feel like, at a really critical point of becoming super engaged in social issues, political issues, environmental issues. Youth are walking out of their schools, demanding climate justice. And for me, that's so inspiring. I mean, I get chicken skin thinking about that. We have youth that are that engaged and aware of what's going on, and in this age of access to information, their level of education, a lot of our kids are coming to us being like, what are we going to do about this crisis of global warming? What are we going to do about plastic pollution? And so we are in this position, I think, at O'Neill Sea Odyssey to really help guide and uplift and support them. And so I'm excited about looking at some of our most pressing environmental issues, continuing to think about how we can incorporate that in our education program here, but also every single class that comes out to O'Neill Sea Odyssey is required to do a community service project. And so while the program is entirely free, we also request that they give back to their watershed. And so being able to really align those priority environmental needs with, again, this just flow of energy from our young people and get them engaged in advocacy and in action in their communities, I feel really excited about that. And I also feel just really, again, we're so lucky to be able to be with students for some of their first experiences on the water. I mean, what a gift to see a kid get on the water for the first time, or, eat plankton. We have some of our kids sample some of the water that they collect. That I feel like we really have the opportunity to support their level of comfort and their feeling of that it is their right. It is their right to have coastal access. It is their right to be connected to the ocean. And a lot of our kids don't have that kind of access. So again, trying to instill that level of responsibility and respect, and also just personal commitment to their relationship with the ocean. So really excited about
with 104,000 kids you've helped, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really proud to be part of this and be here today. And
thank you.
We're going to be going out on a boat later on with the class and experiencing what it's like to be with 3 different classes on the boat and go sail away. So thank you again, Rachel, for your time.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to see you out in the water, and it's so neat to be part of this and share the story of the O'Neill Sea Odyssey and what it stands for. Well, that's a wrap of another edition of Bay Area Backstories, out with the Jack O'Neill experience on the O'Neill Sea Odyssey today. We had Dan and Rachel out there with us, sharing more about the boat, the kids, and what they're doing for the community. If you want to see more about this story, reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Until next time, see you soon.